does go really sketchy, doesn't it, on the intro? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night's 40k show. Now, this last Saturday, if you were following the channel, you would notice that we previewed the Astra Militarum Codex. We did it on a normal style pre-recorded review. If you haven't checked that one out, make sure that's on your watch later list after the stream or sometime during the week. And it was interesting for reasons we'll go into. We also previewed the Codex for the first time last night against the League's Votan, and we will preview it again tomorrow night against the Tau. If you're new here, if you haven't checked out the channel before, please make sure you hit all the magical icons that all the famous YouTubers out there ask you to do. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so that you can watch our content. Hit that bell notification so that you don't miss it when we go live. Anyway, I'm going to do a very brief spoiler for the review that we did back in on Saturday. On the review, we do things very differently. We don't typically do, here's a codex, I'm going to read it to you, it's super boring and I'm reading it for an hour. We do 15 hot takes. We do 3 biggest changes, 3 biggest winners, 3 biggest losers, 3 standout units to me, and my 3 favourite stratagems, right? And of one of the losers, I'll spoil it, the third of the 3 losers, this is the only part I'm spoiling, was Commissar Yarrick. Now, Commissar Yarrick is a famous character from the Astra Militarum who's been in the Codex for as long as I can remember, has some serious beef with the Orcs and specifically Gazgul himself, and is just an icon of 40k as a character. Games Workshop had not too long ago released narrative, in fact, that stated that Commissar Yarrick was essentially immortal simply because the Orcs believed he was, which was very interesting. So it was sad when the Codex came out. When I got the Codex in my hands for the first time, it was sad for me to see that Commissar Yarrick was no longer in the Astra Militarum Codex. Not only was he not in the Codex as a datasheet and a model and a unit, there was some narrative in that particular Codex that alluded to the demise of Commissar Yarrick. We were led to believe, essentially, that he had been killed or had passed away in some regard. He'd gone. He was not there anymore. End of. Okay? That had caused a bit of a stirring out there in the world, right? That had caused quite the stirring. Lots of people very upset that Yarrick had been removed from the Codex, and we still had units like Colonel Strachan and Sergeant Harker, that Cadia Creed had gone, and we've now got Ursula Creed. People got a bit emotional about it, especially Yarrick. Yarrick's just one of those iconic figures in 40k.
Uncle Liam, which unit of guard is a must-have?
I will promise you I will get to you, Big Bad Peter Game, I promise you. However, he wasn't in the Codex. An absolute staple of 40k narrative, and he wasn't in the Codex. It made a lot of people quite sad. It made me quite sad. We, on the review, we took off our hats, we held it over our hearts, and we mourned the passing of an absolute legend in 40k narrative. Now, I said this yesterday on the stream, Guard players aren't necessarily alien to losing named characters in the narrative, because they are, after all, strictly only humans. So it's not something that we are particularly afraid of. It happens a lot. There's a number of characters that have been killed in the past. Okay, so that's not necessarily something that is new to Guard players, but Commissar Yarrick is such an iconic character. And I also felt like, with what's been going on in 40k over the last few years, and the releasing of new kits and upgraded models and new this and new that, and a new Eldrad and a new Araman and a new Typhus and a new Be'lakor, and all these named characters getting brand new, exceptionally gorgeous and beautiful models, I really genuinely believed that there was an epic opportunity with Commissar Yarrick to make something super special as a Guard centerpiece that didn't have to be a tank. Granted, they kind of have that anyway with the new Lord Solar model, but there isn't so much narrative, lore, and legend behind the new Lord Solar model as there is behind Commissar Yarrick. I thought this was a real opportunity. But they didn't. They removed him. They removed him, and there was narrative in there that killed him. And there was also something on the rumour engine, which I'll show you guys in just a moment, that showed a skull with a bionic eye on the right side, the correct side, bionic eye for Commissar Yarrick, hanging from the chest of the new World Eaters Primarch Angron. And that led us to believe that perhaps Yarrick had not only been killed, not only had he died and perished, but he had been killed at the hands of Angron, which made a lot of other people even madder and sadder, because they were like, well, if he's going to die, at least let the fight be, or the slaughter be caused by the Orcs, his famous opponent. Anyway, a lot of people upset. lots and lots and lots of things on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube about people being upset. So yesterday, Games Workshop dropped this. And this might be the fastest retcon of lore I think I've ever seen in my whole life. Right? It might just be the quickest U-turn we may have ever seen from Games Workshop, including the Leagues of Votann nerf. What's this? It's a 15th of November article, so it's yesterday. Warhammer community investigates. Could Commissar Yarrick actually be dead? Well, the fucking codex is relatively clear. I'm not ruining the narrative in the codex. One, because I can't read it right now because Joe's taking it home so we can learn a little bit more before tomorrow's game. And secondly, because if you're going to get the codex, you want to read these lore things for yourself the first time, okay? So let's get through this article. On Holy Terror, at the very top of the Tower of Heroes, sits the Bell of Lost Souls. This colossal bell tolls every time a legendary hero of the Imperium breathes their last. Its mournful peal reaching the deafening ears of millions across the throne world. And the new Codex Astra Militarum suggests that bell has tolled for the hero of Armageddon as Commissar Sebastian Yarrick goes to join the Emperor in glory. Possibly, maybe. I mean, the Codex doesn't say possibly, maybe. But, you know, whatever. We won't go through this particular article. This is the one in question, I believe, from the actual Codex, right? This wouldn't be the first time Commissar Yarrick has been reported dead. The Divisio Mortis has a lot of deaths to keep track of, and details in the official dispatch are redacted. So we're investigating the matter ourselves. What might have happened to the hero of Hades' Hive? Perhaps this ancient warrior fell to mankind's oldest enemy, the passage of time. The people of Armageddon knew Yarrick as the old man early on, and the pressures of 2 apocalyptic wars can't have helped. However, rejuvenant treatments are available, and important figures like Lord Solar Leonatus can keep going just about indefinitely. That's convenient, isn't it? Time might want to catch Yarrick, but if it did, there'd probably be a fight. Which begs the question, who, if anyone, could kill him? His nemesis, Gasgagol Thraka, may have a shiny new body, but he'd surely be reluctant to put an end to his favourite pastime, Yarrick fighting. For all we know, it might be the Orcs' collective belief in Yarrick's invincibility that kept the old Commissar truckling. See? They said it again. Say it right again there. Orcs believing he's immortal makes him immortal. With the opening of the Great Rift, the Blood Crusaders smashed into Armageddon. Perhaps Yarrick returned to his old stomping ground and died at Angron's hand. There's a certain skull with a bionic eye strung around the Red Angel's neck. He'd only keep his most memorable foes' bounties away from the Skull Throne, and Sebastian Yarrick definitely qualifies. If you're wondering, and you can see my mouse right here, there is a skull hung around Angron's neck, which happens to have a bionic eye on Yarrick's eye side. Here is his head with the bionic eye. There you go. That fits, right? That matches. Falling in battle against the Demon Primarch would be a worthy death, but surely we'd have heard about such an epic showdown. Yarrick is not one to go quietly. Could it be that he isn't dead at all? The Imperium has a proud history of factual creativity, and after the supposed but not actual death of Marneus Calgar on Vigilus boosted morale, it's entirely possible that they're trying it on again. Another heroic martyrdom to put the fire of vengeance into the hearts of mankind. If only a powerful organisation with hilariously flexible morals could arrange such a thing. Or perhaps the galaxy's most enthusiastic history buff has given Yarrick new purpose. As a museum exhibit, he'd be the perfect capstone to any display of classic Steel Legion models after all. One thing's for sure, with the old man of Armageddon absent from the new Codex Astra Militarum, the truth will elude us for now. We'll be following the exploits of the new crop of heroes, such as the Lord Castellan of Cadia, Ursula J. Creed, as they navigate a future more dangerous than ever, with the ominous shadows of the Arcs of Omen fast approaching. The Cadian Sounds army set is now available. You could buy it from GW. You're better off buying it with my element link, ! Element in chat. Now that, to me, is a rapid backtracking. That's what that looks like to me, okay? That doesn't look like a divisive, he's dead or he's not dead. The codex seemed relatively clear to me, right? It seemed relatively clear to me he was dead, he was gone. I think it seemed relatively clear to almost everybody that read it that he had gone. And I think they may have realised, oh shit, we made a cock-up by not putting him in the codex, not including Commissar Yarrick. That seems like a monumental backtrack, and it begs the question, is this intentional? Is this intentional hype? Or is this panic retconning of narrative in the new codex? Oh shit, we can't kill Yarrick after all. Where do we think it sits, chat? Which side of this coin? Was this intentional? Was it intentional that he wasn't in there but he might still be alive? Or was it an intentional he's actually dead and now we're suddenly panicking and reversing said narrative-based decision. If it is the latter as well, it begs the question, are we going to then see in the future a rejuvenated Commissar Yarrick model? Are we going to get a new sculpt on a new fancy hero base with lots of tactical rocks because they love those things nowadays? Maybe that's already been made. Maybe there's a big Yarrick release perhaps coming with the Arcs of Omen book set that we know is coming out soon narratively. Now, they did say with Arcs of Omen, and this is something that I'm conscious of, when they did the release back when I was over in America, they said with Arcs of Omen, we're going to stop putting additional army rules inside of campaign books because we've had some feedback. I mean, if you watched a video I did way back for Warzone Caradon, I called them the worst possible word in the world for sticking day one DLC for certain factions inside a campaign book and launching that book basically the same weekend that the codex was released. It's just not something I would ever condone. I think that was a terrible move by GW. They've listened, not necessarily to me, just to the community in general, and they've not put extra army rules inside campaign books. Could they, however, now in these campaign books think about releasing a single data sheet to add a model to a codex who currently doesn't exist? I suggest they can't. Arcs of Omens has probably already gone to print, unless this was the plan all along and a Yarrick just pops up in Arcs of Omen. So maybe we'll see a data sheet, maybe we'll see a new model. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I certainly would have preferred a Commissar Yarrick model over a fucking orc with a guitar. They could have spent their time and energy making that instead. Just my own personal preference. But I want to know what you guys think. If you're new to these, by the way, this is what we do. We do a 10-minute rant about something, about a topic, something specific, and then we just talk to you guys for the rest of the night and see what you think about what's been going on. What are we thinking? Purposeful move or panic retcon? Where are we going with it? Let me know. Have you just picked up your microphone?
Yeah.
Sorry, I hadn't muted it. You might have heard Luce moving the mic in the background because it was off of her desk and now it's back on it. It's fine. I thought I'd muted you, but I hadn't. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Purposeful move or panic retcon? Because I think the codex is clear and he was going to have died. And I think that, or have been declared as deceased and no longer someone that they covered in the narrative of the 40k universe. I think the codex was clear. And therefore, I think this is a panic. Oh, shit. People weren't happy with this. It is Commissar Yarrick. Why would we lose him? Where do we think? Where do we sit, team? Where do we sit? Some people are saying panic retcon. I think I saw Kirioth earlier say panic retcon. Basically, threw out their established characters for no real reason. Yeah, and give us shit new ones that don't really have any backing, right? Can't believe you hate the Goth Rocker. He's glass. I don't like those sorts of silly models in my 40k, if I'm honest with you. I like it to be grim, dark, and evil, right? Yeah, but Christmas number one, Liam, that's why, plus at least Yarrick is in that video. They seem a chance to make X money on a new Yarrick. Do you reckon? Because would they actually make that much money on a new single Yarrick model? I don't think they would. I'm not sure that's what we would see. I'm not sure. Whilst you guys have a quick chat, I need to get back to Big Pad Peter Gaming Super Chat from right at the start of the stream. He did that at 2 minutes past 9. It's now 30 minutes past. So we need to make sure we answer these Super Chat questions. In November, just so you guys know, 10% of all Super Chat revenue will go to the Royal British Legion, which is a charity in the UK that helps veterans, forces veterans. It's because we have obviously Remembrance Sunday in this month in November. We did a Remembrance Sunday stream on Sunday, and that individual stream alone, we donated everything to Royal British Legion, which was I think around in excess of £240. I think about £250 in total. So 10% of Super Chat revenue for the rest of the month will continue to go to Royal British Legion. Every other month we donate it to Mind, a mental health charity here in the UK. So thank you, Big Bad Peter Gaming, for the donation. You hero. Uncle Liam, which unit of Guard is a must-have? That's really tough because I think Guard have lots of potential builds in the new codex. I think a unit of Sentinels is very, very strong now because of all their keywords and interactions with other units. I think Lehman Russ battle tanks are a must-have in almost any army list. I just don't see a place where they're terrible. I don't see them being bad. I like the new artillery, the new field guns with the heavy las cannons. They're very good. 2-shot, strength 10, AP -4, D3 +3 damage las cannons. They are ballistic skill 4. But you can give them orders to give them +1 to hit and an additional AP, making them AP -5. And their course, they get reroll benefits and stuff like that. Lord Solar is probably an auto take. He's 170 points, so he's a lot. But he gives you 3 orders, and he can do any kind of order. He gives you Gullyman, reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. He gives you reroll full rerolls for a single unit, like a Chapter Master does. But if that unit is core, he also gives you full rerolls to wound. So Lord Solar is very, very good as well. There's just loads of great choices in the new codex. And of course, my favourite thing from Guard in general, a Shadow Sword. Because a Shadow Sword is D3 plus 3 shots that does a flat 12 damage now. That's what we want. More of that, right? Nobody panic, there's a simple solution you're not seeing. Pulls our
I'm not
retcon.
dead. I'm taking a holiday. He'll be back in 6 months with 10th edition.
I wouldn't be surprised, Yarrick. Thanks for the super chat, you hero. Yarrick on a Baneblade isn't needed. Just a new model for him would be enough if it was accompanied by Steel Legion models. Agree.
Veterans taking care of our own. Doesn't matter the flag. The elephant doesn't care.
Thank you so much, Neil. You're a hero. 10% of all this just gets donated every month. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're legends. So people want a 1,500-year-old Yarrick as old as Chapter Master Dante. Yawn. Yeah, I do, actually. I'm sorry. I do want him. I don't care if he should be 1,500 years old. He's fucking Yarrick. We should keep hold of him, right? Maybe a hot take. A true Grimdark ending for Yarrick would be unremarkable. You won't be missed. It would be unremarkable. My dad used to say the British Armed Forces are like the most brilliant and beautiful sword in the hands of a snivelling, greedy cowards politicians. He was in the Royal Marines. He's not wrong, Fanuc. Absolutely. So what we're saying is we want new Guard, Steel Legion flavour. Here's something else I'm a bit sad about with the release of the Guard Codex. Okay, we've got beautiful new Cadian models, and I will state categorically they are beautiful new Cadian models. Having built an infantry squad, the command squad, and one of the field guns so far, they are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful new Cadian models. They're very, very nice. Zero complaints. Okay, we've seen the Attilan Rough Riders as a plastic kit on YouTube and stuff. I think they're relatively beautiful models. We've seen the new Sentinels. We've seen the new tank, the new Rogel Dawn. Terrible name for it, by the way. The new Rogel Dawn tank. However, and they kind of covered a little part of this on the Titan stream just now. And if you want to check their stream out, it will be available on demand, where they talk about the loss of individual regiment flavour and this new way of building your regiment and whether it's good or bad. Okay, and I won't spoil the stream for you. If you want to check out what they talked about, check that out. But I'm always a little bit sad when things lose flavour, despite the fact that I agree that it improves the simplicity and therefore makes it more accessible, which I am all for. It would be nice if certain kits had options.
I hope he stays dead and killed by Angron in the upcoming Angron book in Armageddon. I think it is reaction to the community. I want less plot armor.
I think there's a lot of people that want less plot armor, Chris, just to be fair. I don't disagree with you on that one. Plot armor's the worst for things like Space Marines as well, right? I'm not against less plot armor. So yeah, I'm always a little bit sad when people lose flavour. Flavour doesn't necessarily have to come in the form of complex rules either, to be fair. Flavour can come simply in the fact that you get different kits. You get different types of kits, right? So, look at Space Marines, okay? You get generic Space Marine kits, and I know it's easy with Space Marines due to their design, but you can buy Space Wolf upgrade kits and Imperial Fist upgrade kits and Dark Angels upgrade kits, etc., 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 and you can customise each of them to be the specific chapter that you prefer. With Guard, we just kind of don't have that options. You've got a Catachan infantry squad and a command squad. The command squad's okay. The infantry squad, you couldn't pay me money to buy and build that infantry squad because it just looks so fucking stupid. We've now got a new Cadian infantry squad, Cadian command squad, and field gun squad. Okay, they're cool, right? And we've got the Krieg infantry unit, which is for kill team, but we've allowed it into the codex because that makes sense. We're really missing a ton of flavour from the Guard. Valhallans, Mordians, Steel Legion, right? Just to name a few. Praetorians. There's so many more narrative, and that's just touching on a few, okay? There's so many Guard regiments out there that they're never going to be able to cover all of them, but could they really not have made a Krieg kit where if you'd have made slightly different choices on the sprue, it could have been converted into a Valhallan kit? Could they have not made a Cadian kit with some slight adjustments if they turn into Talarm Desert Raiders because you use different sets of heads that have... I think it's doable. Yeah, they might not look perfect. Praetorians that can also be Mordians. Seems like that's doable. Okay? I feel like we could have had that instead of just more Cadians. And I'm all for the new Cadians. The new Cadians are stunning. I'm all for the new Cadians. I just don't feel like there's enough flavour there. And again, I would controversially, I would rather see these more adapted new kits for these particular regiments before I see a new Yarrick model. Personally, I don't want Yarrick dead. I do want him alive. Sorry, I do want him alive. I don't want Yarrick dead. But I still would rather see new kits for bog standard troops, etc., before we see specific characters. I mean, I'm in a position with my Eldar where striking scorpions are still fucking fine cast, and that material should be criminal. Like, if you sell that, you should be arrested. Big shout out, Jarl Grimnar and Nordos44. Both of you are absolute fucking legends for donating memberships. Thank you so much for keeping that member train going.
New Yarrick model incoming. Mechanicum Zimmer frame replacing usual character tactical rock shouting Throcker get off my lawn.
Do you reckon they'll just put him in a Stephen Hawking wheelchair and that'll be Commissar Yarrick from now on? I reckon that's reasonable. I think that's doable. I will update my membership tracker, you heroes. Thank you so much to both of you. If you have been gifted a membership, make sure you !mark Discord. Come and join us in the Great Hall. It's an amazing place full of phenomenal people. Thank you, all of you who keep gifting memberships. It's really important to us. Really, really, really important to us. So thank you so much. Give me Krieg or Tanith. Tanith would be another one. And we'd love some Chaos Blood Pack. This is the thing with Krieg, right? I wish the field guns, again, beautifully stunning models. I wish they came with options to put Kriegers on there since you've actually got Kriegers in plastic now.
Here's something to be happy about with the new Guard Codex. Valrak wanted a Praetorian army cost of the new Codex. I bought the army he wanted and all the alternatives available on eBay. For Praetoria. For Steve. For trolling.
Steve, did you do that just so that he couldn't? Because if you did, then you are the true hero of the Imperium, and we shouldn't have a Valrak model, we should have a Ginger Steve model. That's amazing. I'd rather have Abaddon killed than Yarrick. Yarrick is more interesting. Yeah, in all fairness, I probably agree with you. In all fairness, they could just release a guard squad for each just to use kill tier. See, this is the thing, right? Someone said already earlier about plot armor, right? I want less plot armor, and I do agree. But
I want Valhallans for my wolves.
Yes, yeah, I would spread this plot armor type theory out. Not only do I want less plot armor for characters to not like live when they shouldn't be living, but just so that the good guys don't always win. Like, there's so many occurrences where you think, Chaos, Abaddon, they're actually going to be successful, and they go, oh, and then the Ultramarines win. Oh, brilliant. Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, Valhallans. I would have been all over plastic Valhallans, shamelessly. I know, like I said, I do love the new Cadian models. The first time I've ever looked at them, I'm actually okay running Cadians, but Yarrick coming back with 2 claws, says Solstice. Amazing. Tanith is so much better than Krieg. Okay, Quality Street's favourite ones. Hazelnut, well for me. Quality Street, are they the ones that have the strawberry creams in them, Nice?
No, that's roses.
Oh. Quality Streets don't have strawberry
creams?
creams?
Quality Street have the mint green triangle, the purple one.
This is an interesting one, chat.
Orange one as well, but the strawberry one that you really love, that's roses.
It's an important question, though, to be fair, from Dave. So everyone, tell us what's your favourite Quality Street. Because we care, right? Is he dead or not? We don't know. That's the problem. We don't know if he's dead or not. They haven't. Even the article doesn't give us an answer. We have no idea whether he's actually dead or not, and that's the shocking part of this new codex.
Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Let's hope Yarrick's skull will soon take its place beneath the Skull Throne.
So my gut tells me, here's where my gut sits. My gut tells me that the codex was alluding to his death, and that Angron has his skull hanging from his neck was the intent. It's my gut. It'll be interesting because the Angron book that's coming out, because that's been announced as well, that there's a new novel surrounding Angron, and I assume his current state is a demon Primarch. And it will be interesting to know if there's interactions with Yarrick in there, because there's no way that they can retcon that right now, because that book would have gone to print a while ago. So I'm interested whether that was the intent, or whether the skull with the, like, do we think the skull hanging from Angron with the bionic eye was just pure coincidence?
Yes.
Okay. What? Based on?
I'm just sat here feeling all left out, so I thought I'd say yes.
So Lou says yes. Pure coincidence. What do we reckon? If you are wondering what I'm talking about, by the way, in terms of the skull around Angron's neck, let me just quickly show you guys. So here's Angron, right? Here's Demon Primarch Angron. I'm zooming right in. There. That. See that bionic eye? Bionic eye.
From Britain, from America, from Australia. Praetorians form on me. Unless you cost £50 a model, then you stay on eBay for Van Rack. Pretoria, for Steve.
You see, you did do it to troll him, Steve. I fucking love you. That's amazing. You're a hero. So this is what we're talking about, right? This was the conspiracy theory that hit YouTube pretty early. Here's a bionic eye, right? There's a cable hanging down from the bionic eye. There's a bionic eye. There's a skull of a human, right? This is new Demon Primarch Angron model, okay? Here's Varrak's head down here, right? With his bionic eye, okay? So this is the theory that is a Yarrick skull. A Yarrick skull. Right, that's the theory.
Would there not be more than one person with a bionic eye?
Well, there is. Absolutely, there is. Yes, but this is so the Astra Militarum Codex came with the news that actually, let's go up to the article that's in the Codex. The news that Valrak was dead. So this is the piece that I believe is in the Codex, if I remember rightly, right? The Gloria Yarrick, right? Being the redacted file of redacted. Interesting, right? Says some more stuff, okay? Gravitas Maximus, Ministorum Subamenda, know you all that the bell of lost souls has rung this chrono segment, for the loss of a great hero of the Astra Militarum is a loss to humanity, okay? Know you all that a hero of Hades' hive, the most glorious and righteous commissar Yarrick, was the saviour of Armageddon during the First War. The traitors' worlds did he heed not. Unmasked was the planet's heretic governor. When a Xenos beast the size of Hades itself dared take the commissar's arm, did the noble duelist cleave the creature's head in twain and take a war prize of his own, and were the Xenos driven to flee. Know you all that in the face of the Orcs' return during the Second War did Commissar Yarrick sally forth once more to Armageddon. There did he bestride the ash like a giant. No Xenos ply escaped his gaze. No soldier true forgot his duty, and did the beast flee once more. Know you all that when war once more rattles its sabre, when base creatures blew the brazen horn of conflict, did Commissar Yarrick, unfettered by fear, march again in the Emperor's service. Know you all that the God Emperor in his infinite and manifest wisdom has decreed that at last may his loyal servant lay down his physical weapons, for such mundane duties are beyond him. Now is the servant's task created anew, the fire of his soul flaring like the heart of Sol. Now does the God Emperor charge him at his side to enter the greater war, for such is he now made ready. That's pretty fucking clear that Yarrick's dead.
I feel like this is the most bizarre bedtime story time I've ever sat through. There was no funny voices. There was no animation.
Do you know how hard it is to read that, by the way, on the stream live and be clear? It's
this
actually
isn't
quite
relaxing.
complicated.
I'm not ready for bed at all after that. This isn't relaxing.
That's pretty clear, right?
This feels like homework.
That's pretty clear. If you read that, and I'm pretty sure that is the extract from the Astra Militarum Codex. I can't remember for definite. Joe's got the book, but I'm pretty sure that is the extract from the Astra Militarum Codex. Okay, that basically says Yarrick's fucking dead. I don't even think it's even mildly ambiguous. It just says Yarrick's dead, right? So then that whole article that particular extract was hidden within then basically says, oh, he might not be.
He either is or he isn't.
What?
If Yarrick loses his head and comes back, then there is hope for Ferris Manus yet. Smiley face.
It's true, yes, it's true, yeah.
It has service studs though. Guardsmen don't get service studs. Marines get service studs. Calgar has 3 studs and a bionic eye.
You think he's killed Patrick? You think he's killed Calgar? I mean, I'd be okay with that, to be honest with you. I I think I'd be okay with that. If it was, in fact, if it's like, surprise, it's actually Cowgirl that got killed by Angron, but fucking sweet, I'm done. I'm okay with that one. All right, conspiracy time. Imperium is faking his death to draw out Ghazi to fight Angron. Interesting. Again, they say they've done it before, right?
Jack and Ori with Liam.
Thank you, Galgrim. Thanks for the donations, you heroes, all of you. My theory, Commissar Yarrick joins the Legion of the Damned. That's interesting. Aren't they just space marines, though? To be fair, look at him in that picture. That's one old fella, positively skeletal. Yeah, it is. You mean like Celestine? He's now an angel that can come back whenever he wants. I wouldn't like that, though, right? Michael says you killed that reading. I'm assuming that's good. Thank you so much. The Traitor Guardsman says happy heretic noises. Herm says he's gone. This is a bit like being in an imperial church. Now all pray for Commissar Yarrick. Yeah, exactly. It's actually really like reading articles. I'm always a bit nervous when I have to read articles on stream because you misread a comma or a full stop somewhere and you just fuck the sentence right up.
Do you remember when Brom came round for dinner?
Oh, Brom can't read anything out on stream.
And I had to read something and Brom went, Luce, you're really good at reading, you are. Like, thanks, Brom.
That's actually a compliment from Brom because Brom's shit at reading things out on stream.
But like, bless his soul. I looked at him like, should we try that again, Brom?
He can't read a 10-word super chat out in order and not make a fucking hash of it. So it's a compliment from Brom, right?
What was that Christmas special?
Tomo says Dreadnought Yarrick. Yes. Go on.
What was that Christmas special with all the right notes, just not necessarily in the correct order?
Jesus, that's Morecambe and Wise.
I bloody love that Christmas show.
You can't kill old Bale Eye, says Lehman Russ. It's interesting how much people have been so passionate about Yarrick and his death. And that's another question I want to put to chat right now. Why? Why are we so passionate about Commissar Yarrick? Now, for me, the reason why I'm quite passionate about Commissar Yarrick, he's been a character that's been in existence as long as I can remember narratively in 40k. So I remember the old shitty, like, crab claw, like, lobster claw arm he had in his old model. And then when the new one came out, although metal was just so much nicer. So he's been a consistent. Okay? And there's people like consistence. People like things that are, so one of the things that was very, very sad about the passing of Her Majesty the Queen this year for the populace of the UK is she'd been in post as the monarch of this country for, what was it, 70-something years? 73 years, was it? I can't remember.
Who's this?
The Queen Elizabeth II. 73 years? Was it 73?
I think she was coronated when she was 25.
Yeah. So anyway, she'd been the Queen of England for as long as I'd been alive. It's a constant. It's something you just get used to. This is something that's always there and doesn't change. And then when it changes, people don't like it because it's not a constant anymore. Things have changed. So I mean, I'm not necessarily comparing Yarrick with the Queen of England. Don't get me wrong. But he was a constant throughout the whole of the narrative, and that's now changed, and people don't like that kind of change. You had your hand up.
Well,
like it's a class again.
Wee Man.
Which it kind of is.
Well, there is an education going on here. Wee Man says, you're homeschooling. You better be good at reading things out aloud. Smiley face. I appreciate the smiley face. But Wee Man, that is the incorrect you have put there. So...
Oh. Grammar time.
Awkward.
Grammar time. Yarrick is fucking dead. Get over it now. Can we please start killing Space Marine characters? Mystics, I don't want him to die, but at least, so here's what I'm getting, right? I'm not one of these people who sat here preaching, we need to keep him alive. He should stay alive. I'm not that person, right? I'm not that. I want him to live, but I'm not going to cry if they kill him. I actually am not going to sob and go, this sucks if they kill Yarrick. Okay? I'm a World Eaters player. If they kill Khan the Betrayer, cool. Long as the narrative behind his death was fitting of the character, I'm okay with anyone in 40k narrative dying. I'm okay with any of it. I don't care. Because it's a grim, dark universe, and no one should be immortal or immune to death. Right? One of the reasons why early seasons of The Walking Dead, one of the reasons why Luce and I enjoyed that so much is because no main character in that early few seasons was safe. Right? And then eventually it got to a point where certain main characters just seemed to become safe throughout the whole of the series, which kind of ruined it for us. So the fact that main characters weren't safe and who knew who was going to get torn to bits by zombies at some point in the first couple of seasons is what for me made it exciting, right? And now one of the reasons why I love the grim dark universe, one of the reasons why I love 40k is because it's grim, it's dark, it's evil, it's terrifying, and it's just a great narrative. But I think that narrative only stays great if people don't have plot armor that keeps them alive forever. So I want main characters to be able to die. Now, Yarrick. Do I want Yarrick to die? No, I don't want Yarrick to die personally. But in that codex, it says he's dead. So they should just stick with it. They made the call. They made the decision. Dead people should be dead. Otherwise, what we do, if we do think this is a retcon, if we do think this is a panic reaction to a character that's been killed off that everyone got upset about, and they go, what we're telling the community is, if we ever kill off a main character again, if enough people get upset, we'll just bring him back.
Yarrick just a man and his big fist versus the galaxy.
Just a man, exactly. He's just a human. Exactly, Badger Mead. But the message that we send to the community on the whole is, if you don't like it, bitch and moan, and we'll reverse our decision if we believe this was in fact a retcon and not intentionally.
So, what you're saying is that Warhammer potentially cater to a bunch of toddlers because they think if we tantrum enough,
essentially,
we will
that's what I'm
eventually.
getting at. Here endeth the lesson of the stream, kind of, right? We're coming full circle around to the point I actually really wanted to make on this stream in general, and luckily we came here kind of naturally. But what I'm saying is we should not completely react every single time the community kicks up a stink, because with Yarrick's passing and Yarrick's death and the fact this has been covered everywhere, one of two things has happened. They didn't think people would assume he's dead, despite the fact that I've just read you the part that was in the codex and he's not in there anymore, which seems like an odd assumption, and I feel like they're clever enough not to assume that. I feel like they're clever enough to assume that everyone would think he's dead. And then they've reacted. Either they were always planning, we've said this already, right? They were always planning to react, or it was an emergency retcon. And a lot of people in chat seem to think it's the second emergency retcon. What we're saying then is that enough stink kicked up by community means we will retcon law that we put in place, right? I don't think that's a good thing. That's a bad thing. So if they then call Calgar dead, because we talked about that skull being similar to Calgar's. We call Calgar dead, and everyone who plays Space Marines cries because Calgar's dead. They go, oh no, he's not dead. Like, I don't like that kind of safety for named characters in general, personally. You know? I don't prefer that. I prefer them to not have that safety net. I actually kind of like the fear that my favourite named character could actually die. One of the things that keeps me interested in TV series, I loved things like Vikings. There was a point in Vikings where I never... Spoilers, by the way. There's lots of spoilers coming. There's a point in Vikings where I never thought they'd kill off Ragnar. And they did. And I actually kind of like the fact that they killed him off.
So if you have a character in Warhammer that's gotten killed off, narratively, can you not play him anymore?
I mean, narratively, you can arguably do whatever the fuck you want in 40k. But people seem to realise this. People seem to struggle to remember this, and people seem to not be able to realise that this is the case. We have a set of rules that govern how the game is played, and everyone seems to go, I need all the rules all the time. But narratively, you can do whatever you want. So you could, narratively, with your opponent, wind the clock back 500 years and go, well, he's still alive because we've wound the clock back and we're playing in this era.
So competitively, if a character gets killed off, you can't play him.
Competitively, no, you can't. If he doesn't have a data sheet within the codex, competitively, you can't play him, no.
Oh. For some reason, I thought that would be more narrative. Because competitively, well, there was once upon a time a data sheet for him. So you could just use that. But narratively, he's not around anymore. So I thought it'd be a bigger deal for narrative.
No, because
players.
narratively, you can just base the games you're playing in a different time zone. 30k, Horus Heresy exists as a game set that's based 10,000 years before 40k. I mean, granted, it has its own rule set, but what we're saying, and depending on where in the heresy is, depending on which part of the time frame in heresy you play, depends on whether your army's good guys or bad guys, or whether your Primarch's dead or alive, depending on what time frame you play in. Okay? So narratively, yeah, you can crack on and keep playing them. You can do whatever you want narratively, really. You can make up your own rules. You can make up your own data sheets. As long as you and your opponent agree, you're perfectly fine.
So what happens then if... Who's this character called?
Commissar Sebastian Yarrick.
I'm just going to call him Seb. So let's say you've bought a ticket for a competitive thing and you're taking Seb with you. And then something gets released from Games Workshop and now he's killed off. Where does that leave you as a competitive player? Now you can't play him. You'd
have to put a different model in your army. Different unit. So okay, and this is where we're then going to go down a path of competitive versus narrative, player base versus player base, etc., etc., etc. I, as a more narrative person than competitive person, am
Just 'cause.
Thanks very much, Jay, your hero. I'm okay with him killing characters off. I am okay, right? It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just gonna let it go through Laura's super chat. Thank you, Laura. You're a hero. Love you.
Yarrick is Bobby Ewing.
so I'm okay as a narrative player. I'm okay with them killing characters off. That doesn't bother me at all. I like I said, some of my most favorite TV shows, my most favorite things out there are where I think this is one of the reasons why I don't like films so much, because typically the big main character in films just doesn't die off. They always live.
Yeah.
Spider-Man always lives.
Unreasonably so.
Yeah, exactly. So but I don't like that kind of plot armor. The reason why I like certain shows is because main characters can die. Even in more spoilers. Even in Sons of Anarchy that I'm currently watching, at the end of the last season of Sons of Anarchy, Jax dies.
Do you know what my little pet hate is of sitcoms? If you have an odd number of people, so just say you have, for example, Friends. Joey didn't find anyone. Everyone else got paired off, found someone to spend their life with. Joey didn't. Then Big Bang Theory, everybody found someone, but Kuthrapali didn't. And that's my pet hate. How come the most unlikely people find a partner, but the most likely ones don't?
Is this your desperate attempt to steer the conversation down a path of something you can talk about?
No, you were saying about The Walking Dead, about how you hate that, unreasonably so, people survive when other people get killed off. That's my pet hate.
Yeah,
how come sitcoms always leave one out?
I don't like narrative plot armor that keeps people alive for the sake of it. I think television in general is more exciting when there is a potential for a main or lead character that people are behind to pass away in some form or other. So Patrick's put in chat F for Tony Stark because he died, didn't he, in Endgame in Avengers.
That's not one,
Sorry, more spoilers. I warned you, right? Loads of spoilers. Tough, okay? And there's certain main characters, like I said, The Walking Dead, certain main characters in The Walking Dead, especially in the first couple of seasons, died when you didn't think they were going to die. Did you ever really think that Rick had killed Shane? Things like that, right? You just don't expect it necessarily.
I feel like Shane was
when Negan rocks up and batters fucking Glenn's head in with that baseball bat. No one saw that coming, right? There just wasn't something you expected in the narrative because you thought that Glenn, who was there from the day one, had plot armor at that point. You thought he was going to always be okay. And I always find it's more exciting when a lead character can die. I would have liked more than that specific extract for Yarrick, but I think it's more exciting that he can die and that the narrative progresses narratively.
How did he die?
Well, we don't know. It hasn't told us.
So,
however, we do know that the World Eaters and Angron are descending upon the world of Armageddon, the world that Yarrick has defended in the past. As per that extract, defended it from the Greenskins twice at least, amongst other threats. Okay, we know that Angron is descending on Armageddon. We also know there is a new narrative coming out, a new book coming out around Angron, which I assume is going to cover their assault on Armageddon. And my gut tells me that Yarrick tried to stand against the Demon Primarch and fucking lost that one. That's what my gut tells me. And I kind of like that idea that a lead character who has successfully defended his homeworld upon invasion, then suddenly dies at the hands of a Demon Primarch. I'm okay with it. I think that's good that we can have that fear that our precious little characters that we love so much in narrative could possibly be destroyed. Who expected them to break Cadia? That was fucking incredible narrative writing. All right, someone put in the chat earlier. I saw it, but I'm just passionate about this topic. Someone put in the chat earlier about one of the reasons why Dan Abnett's writing is so popular is because Dan Abnett typically writes from a human-based perspective, and so it's a bit more terrifying, a bit more scary, less plot armor. And I agree. Like, we don't want to just go, cool, this character, Spider-Man's in the film, and at the end of the film, Spider-Man will be alive, or Batman's in the film, and guess what? Batman wins.
Do you know what annoys me about Spider-Man?
Okay, go on.
Is that, well, okay, maybe not Spider-Man, Batman, because they're... Don't kill me, chat, but they're much of a muchness, these superheroes.
They're all the same. They're all the same, yeah.
So Batman just has money. That's his superpower, is that he has money.
It's the most accurate superpower to modern life. Yeah, carry on.
Why doesn't he die of sepsis? He gets beaten up enough. He must get infections in his cuts. Why can he not just die of a really normal, almost impossible to diagnose through symptom alone thing that he could sleep off his injuries and just not wake up? That would be a perfectly reasonable explanation.
Oh, I have a book recommendation. The Gaz book, A-OK Hand.
Okay, cool. I will check it out if it's on Audible.
Why don't these superheroes ever die of normal stuff? Why do they have to die in the most ridiculous... They survived getting beaten the shit out of with robots and gadgets.
I mean, to be fair, though, I think if you... So I'm stating categorically that I don't want plot armor to keep someone or something alive, whether that's 40k or movies or whatever. And I'm okay with going to cinema and watching a film where at the end of a 2-hour film, and I don't typically go to watch films to be fair, because of things like plot armor, but if I went to watch a 2-hour film and at the end of that film Spider-Man was killed, I'd be perfectly okay with that. And I'd walk out shocked but going, that was fucking exciting because he actually did die.
Yeah.
If however, I went to watch a 2-hour film and after 1 hour and 48 minutes, Spider-Man just has a heart attack and dies, you're like, oh, I think I'd be disappointed, Luce.
No, I'd go, fair.
I don't think...
Fair. The body can only take so much. Even Spider-Man is not invincible.
I think when these main characters perish in narrative, if I want them to perish, I want them to have something like a Negan fucking barbed wire wrapped baseball bat battering their head in. I think if we were watching The Walking Dead and Glenn tripped over a root, broke his ankle, got sepsis and just died on the... I'd be like, that was shit.
That was real. That could really happen. If we're going to do zombie apocalypse in the lives we lead now, we still have the flu killing people. How have they never caught the flu?
That's the thing now, chat. We don't want Space Marine Primarchs to die from epic battles. We want them to die from dysentery. That's how the narrative in 40k now needs to pan out. There you go. You heard it here first.
It could happen. Everybody's so bothered about being the hero and everything else. Nobody's worrying about the toilet system. That will get you.
Amazing. I'm actually crying in the right eye now. I've got something stuck in it. That's brilliant, Luce. Okay. So that's now every Marvel film, every DC comic, every 40k novel, every epic new series, every Bond film coming. Be aware. Be aware. They could just get food poisoning.
Yeah, they could get syphilis because no one's looking after themselves, really. Poor Alfred. Who's looking after Alfred? He's doing the graveyard shift while Batman's running around.
Crypt Shadow said cancel the Dempseys. Oh, brilliant. Amazing. Okay. Fantastic. There we go. Death from the hangnail. More characters should die from the claps as L cramps.
Dante dies of a burst appendix.
Real life.
It could happen.
Eats a dodgy date. Gets chronic shits. That's fine. That's a long book though, that one, isn't it? Oh, incredible. They catch the flu in The Walking Dead in the prison, didn't they? They caught some kind of sickness, yes.
Yeah, I really liked the prison. But
Lucy, stop ruining my immersion.
Sorry.
So they did catch kind of like a flu type thing in the prison.
Wasn't that when they had their budget cut?
No, that was The Farm.
I was
budget cuts for season 2, which was The Farm. And they somehow managed to make the whole season work from The Farm. Jack, welcome to the channel as a Hasir. You're a legend. Thank you for joining us. Coming in at Hasir tier will, in fact, get you access to our Discord server, !Discord. Gaz has already done it for you. Come and join us. If you want to catch our members-only content, this week we haven't done members-only content simply because it's a brand new codex week. If you want to catch our members-only content, that needs to be a Skald tier. You guys are all welcome to join that level as well. If you are a grey name and you're in chat and you don't want to join, then you might get super lucky, because someone might come in and gift 5 or 10 or whatever. And if they do that, then you'll also get access to all the members-only content and to the Discord server. And you get a try before you buy. If you love it, if you want to watch it, if you want to check it out, do that once you've got your free try, if you get gifted membership. And then if you do love it, you might choose next time round to resubscribe as a member using your own money. We've got a lot of people that have been gifted. Who in chat? I'm going to ask this question now. No one's going to say anything. Who in chat got gifted membership and then chose to keep it themselves? Did anyone in chat do that? Because I've had a lot of people message me and say that that's happened, which is really nice. It's really good that people have given them a free try, and then they've come and kept themselves in the channel, in the community, in the Discord, which is amazing. Right. Tell that to Daredevil, says Rimney. In the 41st Man, there is only dysentery. That's the new. That is the new.
That's my point. Everybody in the superheroes, it's all these amazing pyrotechnic battles, everything else. It's not realistic. It's not.
No. And I think one of the reasons why I like the flu in the prison, was because it was kind of real.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I really hated about The Walking Dead, so slight detour from 40k now, right, chat? One of the things I hated about The Walking Dead, we've spoke about this before, I agree with you. They had a fucking baby. Right. How many of you out there are parents? How often do babies cry? And how often do you want to go, shut the fuck up? And they won't, right? Because they're babies. Okay? And you'll feed them and change them and wind them and cuddle them and swaddle them and choke them. And they still won't shut up. Obviously, you don't do the last one, right? And they still don't shut up. Okay? They just keep crying. And sometimes you have nights where you sit there with your children and they just fucking cry.
Where were the zombies?
What happens, right? That child never just sat there and cried. In a zombie apocalypse, apparently, you want a happy child, have it in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's the only way you keep them quiet.
Yeah.
Right? Big shout out, Rimney. Fucking legend. We just talked about gifted memberships. He then goes and drops 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. You fucking legend. I love you very, 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 very dearly. Hero, thank you. You sniped me on Titan stream today. Thank you, says Will. That's okay. They didn't have, no one was gifting subs or gifting memberships on the Titan stream, so I dropped 5 in and then someone else came and dropped 5 in. So it worked, right? We do that. Was just gifted, was gifted, just waiting until payday now to renew, says Darren. Thank you so much, mate. You're a hero. I foolishly used my own money, says Cyber Freya. Not foolishly, right? I had a sub, then got gifted when I was unable to resub, then just resubbed again this week. Chroma Cypher, thank you so much. Yarrick breaks his back carrying the 9th edition codexes and rule books. There was someone I said up here. Mystic said, Marnius Calgar, survivor of countless battles, first to pass the Rubicon, dead by blood poisoning after stepping on a rusted nail.
This could happen.
That's the narrative we want, right?
The amount of broken glass that Spider-Man steps on, and his shoes are not suitable for broken glass. He should have realistically by now got several skin infections because his shoes are practically slippers.
Hot take, Spider-Man's shoes are not suitable.
They're not.
Fucking brilliant. Oh, amazing.
And Batman's cape. Oh my God. That's just in the way 90% of the time.
Jack clearly wants that members only content. He's upgraded his membership to Gold. You're a fucking hero, Jack. Thank you so much. Make sure all of you people that have been gifted memberships, come and join us in the Great Hall. You're amazing. Jarl Grimnar's then just given another one out. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Where are we? And Ben, he's busy swearing at a model right now, says Laura. Amazing. Didn't you get a gifted membership and keep it? Yeah, you got a gifted membership, Luce.
I did. I don't know how.
Last night you got a gifted one.
Did I?
Yeah, when it was on the game stream. Paddy was laughing whilst he was running the deck.
Were you just explaining Joe or babies?
Both. To be fair, I think babies are easier than Joe, Chris. Can't wait to have you back, by the way. I think people are missing you. Because, you're the new and improved Eddie.
John makes a good point. No one ever goes to the toilet, either in films or TV shows. So there you go. Bladder infections galore. I think that can blood poison you if you don't go to the toilet.
Sean Williams says, this is amazing. No joke, but there was a superhero who died of AIDS in the 90s. I hope we're not talking about real life and in the film. Superhero films where people lift cars and jump tall buildings, not realistic enough. That is true.
No, it's not realistic. Not realistic. How are they fine? Lifting cars, how are they fine?
I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed in A Quiet Place, says Asbo. Fucking right, mate. Same, in A Quiet Place with a magic soundproof box they put the kid in. Exactly, right? Exactly. The Walking Dead has a lot of flaws for sure. I mean, understatement. But we come to expect some of them. I think we come to accept, some of them, or quite a lot of them. There's just some of them where I'm like, this is a bit, you've pushed this a bit too far down the wrong path now. The baby was one of them. I think they pushed too far.
Yeah, and then...
So not doing a lot of... people not dying of sepsis and dysentery, I'm actually kind of okay with on the whole, because I don't think that's a great film. How many of you would want to watch a 2-hour film with superheroes, but at the end of it, the superhero just dies of COVID?
And I don't quite understand why it took them so long. Or when did we stop watching it?
Which one?
What season? Walking Dead.
I don't remember. It was after Negan, quite a way after Negan.
So, was anybody in a treehouse community? Why must it take you so long to realise the zombies can't climb trees? Just live in the trees. Why did that take so long?
Quipsters, Alex in the chat. Untrue. John Travolta's character dies when coming out of the loo in Pulp Fiction.
I haven't seen that one.
In fact, as well, also saw someone die on the toilet at Jurassic Park. So they definitely used the toilet.
Yeah, that he didn't die on the toilet because something went terribly wrong while he was having a shit.
But you said we don't see people going to the toilet. He went to the toilet very quickly.
I didn't say that. Who did say that? There was someone on here. Let me find it.
We've just proven you wrong, though. Whoever it was, John, I think it was.
John. Yeah, it was John.
Clearly, people do go to the toilet in films. Jurassic Park, Pulp Fiction. There's your two examples, right?
But no, Jurassic Park one doesn't count.
Why not?
Because he didn't have chronic constipation or something wedged up.
Yeah, but that's not how.
Dinosaur.
That's not how the character died in Pulp Fiction, though, was it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Hot take. Endgame
wait. They can now climb. So they learnt to climb trees.
Did they? Well, they're clever people, them zombies. Endgame would have been a very different film if they'd stopped the final battle for a toilet break. They just go in their suits loose. That's all they do. Some pilots do that. The most recent episode of Walking Dead Zombies are climbing trees, says Weeman. That's shocking.
So they've learnt to climb trees now. Well, you could have had a treehouse community for what, 10 years? So there's 10 years of Easy Street there that nobody cottoned on to.
Lethal Weapon 2 almost got blown up on the toilet.
I love the lethal weapons.
Sons of Anarchy kill the Nazi when he goes for a piss. There you go. See, there's loads of people going for toilets. Absolutely. Absolutely. Loads of people.
Toilet is actually the deadliest place to go. That's why nobody goes.
Badger means if a dinosaur shows up when you're having a shit, I say something has definitely gone terribly wrong. Farrater says the Emperor is dead on the toilet. Amazing. I mean, he is on the throne, isn't he? So, quite literally, right? There's also an Elvis Presley film. He died in the loo, and that's in a film. So, I think we've just proved the fact that people don't use the toilet in films and series. Good. Well done, team. Tywin Lannister dies on the shitter. Turns out he doesn't shit gold. Absolutely. Agree. The narrative characters should die. Calgar should have died to Abaddon instead of getting Primarisified. 100% agree with you. Should have made Abaddon seem a real threat again. 100% agree with you, Jay. I think if Yarrick is declared dead in the Codex, which for me it seems relatively clear he is, he's not in the Codex, he's declared dead in the Codex, I think they should have left him dead. I don't think they should have put the article out yesterday basically saying he could be alive. I think, and they haven't said he is alive, to be clear. They said he could be alive. I think they should have left him dead. I think they should have just gone, yes, Yarrick is dead. Guess what? It wasn't Gaz. Angron killed him. And I know you all want that fairy tale ending where Gaz and Yarrick fight and one of them wins. But guess what? It's the fucking 41st millennium. It's a giant fucking galaxy of evil people fighting each other all across the galaxy. It's ripped asunder by the Cicatrix Maledictum. People are separated on both sides. There's horrific fighting everywhere. Guess what? Gaz couldn't get to Yarrick, but Angron cut the fucker's head off. I think they should have... I really believe... And I don't want Yarrick dead, but I really believe if that's the way they're going to go, they should have just leaned into it. Should have leaned into that narrative, and that should have happened. JC remembers the classic moment from what's it called? Austin Powers, where he's shouting, "Who does number 2 work for?" That was in the toilets.
The Austin Powers films?
Yes. When he was bog flushing the guy in the toilet, saying, "Who does number 2 work for?" And there was the American guy in the next cubicle going, "That's right, buddy, you showed that turd who's boss."
I'm judging you a little bit right
now. Kill off Abaddon, bring on Huron the Warmaster. No, I mean, I again, I'm not against, I'm literally not against anybody being killed, okay? I have no problems with anybody in the narrative being killed and absolutely being destroyed, decimated, and they can't come back. Whether that be Magnus Mortarion, Gulliman, whether that be Abaddon, whether that be Ahriman, especially if it is used in a moment that really pushes the narrative onto something new and awesome. Like, that's when I'm really okay with it. If Yarrick, for example, has in fact died at the hands of Angron the Demon Primarch, and this is the introduction of the Demon Primarch back into the 41st millennium, and suddenly he is a real threat, and the world eaters are dangerous again, I think that's a good use of Yarrick as a character in order to progress the narrative. There's an epic fight, an incredible fight in Armageddon, he dies at the hands of Angron. I'm not saying this is what happens, but if this is what they were to bring out narratively, I think that's a good use of Yarrick's life. He is a human after all. He is God knows how many years old now. He probably should in fact be dead. Perhaps this is a whole new narrative then, where where Angron kills Yarrick, and Gaz now has a sudden grudge against Angron because he killed his dueling partner, right? And maybe then the Orcs go on this giant war against the World Eaters, and we have World Eaters versus Orcs as a new massive narrative that doesn't fucking include good guy Space Marines for a change. I'm all about that life. I think that'd be amazing for narrative. So to summarise, Astra Militarum Codex is on pre-order. I have a review video that went up on Saturday. Please check it out. I think it's a good video, right? That talks about the Astra Militarum Codex. In said Astra Militarum Codex, there is in fact narrative that states specifically, basically, I think it's really clear that Yarrick is dead. That the Bell of Lost Souls has told Yarrick is now at the side of the Emperor. Basically says it, which would also indicate the Emperor's dead, by the way, if you read that article. Anyway, says Yarrick's dead, okay? He's no longer in the Codex. His data sheet's been removed. He's not in there anymore, okay? So for as far as I'm concerned, he should be dead. This is where we're going with it. GW released an article yesterday that essentially retconned his death and said, well, he could be alive. He could still be alive. He could come back, right? He could come back. And what I'm saying about all of this is, that last part is the bad part. I don't want the community moaning to be a reason for Yarrick coming back. I want characters to not have plot armor, and in this horrifically gigantic, terrifying galaxy, it actually be possible for characters, named characters, to be able to be killed off, to be able to perish. That's where I sit on it, chat. That's where I sit on it. Before we disappear from the stream, we will have our fact of the night where you guys can let me know what you think of how I've just summarised. Otherwise, as soon as the stream finishes, drop what you think in the comments below. I have not been able to read chat as much as I like tonight because I've been really passionate about this particular topic. So please, 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 after this stream, drop what you think in the comments section that will be on the bottom of the video. And tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will go through the comments and at some point tomorrow, and I'll start responding to you people. Please, it'd be amazing. It also helps the video, of course. We're on 99 likes, so very close to getting 100 likes as well. Please make sure you put those comments in there. And please make sure you like the video. And if you're watching and you've just been listening and you haven't commented and you're not already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification icon so you are notified every single time we go live. That would be amazing. It's kind of sad that we cannot use the new guard codex for Ziza GT. It's not sad, it's the rules. Games Workshop have also advised now, they've actually come out with official advice that tournaments shouldn't use codexes that are limited edition, that aren't on general sale to everybody. We made this decision last year with, I think it was the Sisters or the Orcs book, I can't remember which one it was. I've stuck to this decision all year. GW have basically now come out and gone, yeah, you're making the right call. You shouldn't be using limited edition codexes because not everybody have got access to them. So it's not sad, it's the rules. Anyway, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Human farts can enter the atmosphere at around 7 miles per hour.
This has been a really good, informative, narrative-based chat. I don't know if I've seen chat moving so quickly for a very long time. We're talking about real issues, reading articles, talking about the narrative, discussing narrative, and you come back with a human farts fact.
Because it's real.
And I would also suggest that 7 miles an hour?
I know, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's very quick. When Joe's here, it sounds like it just dribbles out of him.
Oh. So chat, last night, Joe was in the doorway and I was going to walk over and he looked really scared.
You're going to embarrass him now, aren't you?
Well, why must he do it? He's right by the front door. Just excuse yourself. Go outside for a minute.
Go outside is the answer.
I will love you more for it.
Yeah. Mystic says, joined on my own. You are the only YouTube channel I'm a member of. The reason why is you keep it and yourself real, and I simply like you. Got distracted, so message came a bit late. Thank you so much for that. It's amazing. That's a very kind message to read before the end. I just saw my name tag, so I was going to read it. Anyway, 200 people watching, only 100 likes. What are you lot playing at? We're 121 now, right? It's fine. World Eater Special Edition release box. Angron 20 Berserkers, 10 Red Butchers versus Yarrick riding a Cyclops demolition vehicle. Sounds great. Great topic. You're right. Take the good with the bad. Absolutely. That's why we love the grimdark narrative, right? I can empty a room at 10 mile an hour, says Dave. There is no way it's maintaining coherency like that, says Kiriath. How fast are orc farts, though, says Michael. Who measures it, says Carl. I know some of these facts.
Wouldn't an orc fart be red?
Human farts are actually bacteria burps. Yours are faster. Are they red? Because you need to see a doctor if that's the case, says Mandy. You're all amazing. You're all amazing. Please let me know what you think about this whole Yarrick thing in the comments section, because I haven't got to read as much chat as I want. There's been loads of comments that I've been sort of skimming and going, oh, I want to read that one, want to read that one, want to read that one. And by the time I finish, it's moved on. So please make sure you drop these comments in the video. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we will see you tomorrow night, 7:30, more Astra Militarum. Joe gets to field the guard yet again with the new codex. He's taking on Paddy and his Tau. I'll be producing for you beautiful people at 7:30 tomorrow. Then on Friday, we have 40k After Dark at 9:30. I don't have any more mead to drink at the moment, which is a problem. But, you know, it's a problem that we will solve at some point in the near future. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.